Last episode, we scraped off the barnacles, those limiting beliefs stuck to you by fear, guilt, and outside noise. But scraping them just revealed the next layer, your other selves, your past selves that were not all truly yours. And some of them
Need to die.
I am Nikki Grimm and I crimp my hair because I'm bringing it back. Welcome to Cosmic Coffee. Today's episode is going to be Death of the Selves. What it is, what it isn't, why it's important, and when you should do it. So don't get excited. We're not actually killing anybody today. We're just killing off past versions of yourself that no longer serve you. And why? Well, why are you here? Why are you looking at spiritual awakening videos? Because you woke up, you discovered yourself, you discovered a new respect and love for you. And now that you've done that, you want this you to be the best that it can be the best that you've imagined. Think about all of your eras in your life. And think about your reactions to situations or reactions to certain people, how you behaved around certain people, how you shrunk to make this person not mad, or how you stayed quiet so these people wouldn't think you were too weird, or how you toned down your dress to look more acceptable, even though you know you had great boobs and you want to show them. All those survival techniques that you built up, that you used, or that were inflicted on you, those are the parts that we're talking about. One thing to be clear on is this is not the death of the ego. It's actually an ego healing. It's an ego evolution. Birth and death occur more than once per life cycle. It happens over and over again. You know this very well when you go from a toddler to a preschooler. That's kind of like a death and rebirth cycle. When you go from a little kid to a teenager, that's a big death and rebirth cycle, and so on and so on. And when you switch from one version of yourself to and grow into another version of yourself, there are things that, of course, you leave behind. Well, but the thing is when you go from one version of yourself to another version of yourself, you are shedding old things and old characteristics or that you don't need anymore. They don't serve you in your next step. So beyond shedding old stuff, Marie Kondo style, I'm referring to characteristics and survival mechanisms that you developed in order to either survive or to be accepted. You don't need these anymore because who are you now? You want to be you. You want to be free. And that's what shedding the old selves is all about. And when the real you is screaming to get out, you don't always recognize it. You see it as something else or someone else's fault, that there's something inside you that is just wrong. And you will project your emotions about that, this lost feeling. By covering up with drugs, you start drinking, you just settle into your life, and you just think something else has to make that void go away. You get a shopping addiction, you get a gambling addiction, and basically all these maladaptations are just ways to cover up the fact that you're not being you. You're not loving you. And you're basically just killing yourself off until the physical meat sack wears off too. When is a good time to really focus on killing off an old self? Definitely do it before going to a new relationship. And you should probably do it before going to a new job. Relationship, for example. Well, obviously the relationship that was prior has ended because something didn't work out. Usually, when something doesn't work out, it's because one person is not having their needs met, or both people are not having their needs met, and anymore. Because in the beginning, of course, people's needs were getting met. That's how the relationship started. But if, for example, you are, you know, doing things differently than you normally do to make this person happy, you're speaking in a different way to make this person comfortable, you're just basically shrinking back and being less of yourself because you're afraid of this other person's reaction. Now, in the beginning of the relationship, you modified yourself. You held back. You were quiet. You may have pretended to like things that you didn't like, but you wanted this person to like you. So you changed some things. You changed your taste in music. You may have started to like sports that you didn't like before. Now, these traits, before you start a new relationship, these traits are still kind of in your nervous system. And you have to purge those, or else they're going to bleed into your new relationship. Now, this new person may like you for who you are, or it could be that this person likes you for who you became when you were with that other person. So you're still not yourself. You're still conditioned to behave a certain way to make another person happy or for approval. Definitely purge everything not authentic to you before getting into a relationship. Everything this other person wanted you to be, get rid of because it's not you. This one's kind of, ugh, makes me want to throw up in a little in my mouth. Talking about the whole relationship and the Germany fiasco. I was not me. I don't identify with the person that was performing this role, this in my in this in my skin. I don't identify with them at all. That person changed too much. That person basically was brainwashed to become somebody else in my skin. But what is still what do I still have? I still know how to speak German. I can speak Dutch. I I hate to think that any part of that era could be redeemable to take with me. I mean, it was the worst era of my life, but and you will have probably worst eras of your life too that you're just like, I cannot even allow any part of this person to come with the new me. And that was my idea too. I completely just rejected that whole time era, blocked it, repressed it, and then later found out that was not the safest thing. But okay, so what are the bad traits? Sorry, I'm getting fidgety because I hate this topic. Um, all of it. Okay, but what did I gain? I learned how to speak German. I learned how to speak Dutch. I ate Turkish food, like authentic Turkish food. So, so now I am a Nikki that saw the ocean for the first time since she'd been dreaming about it since she was 8 years old because my dad bought me a Malibu Barbie doll. After I kind of cried in the store for it, now I feel bad. But anyways, he bought me the Malibu Barbie doll, and it came with this like thin. It's like I mean, it was grooved like a record, and you put it on a record player, and it played "Surfer Girl," which is a Beach Boys song, and it was the first time. Hi, little bug. I ever heard that song, and I became completely obsessed with Beach Boys, flamingos, anything ocean, California, all of it. And that obsession stayed with me until what was I? Think it was finally over 40 when I finally did actually go to the ocean, and when I did see her, I just bawled. But anyways, I'm a Nikki with that memory now, and since then, I'm a Nikki who has gone to the ocean again. So, but a different one. Let's see, North Sea, I got to see the Pacific Ocean. I want to go back. So I digressed a whole lot here. So, anyways, the point is, Don't completely just reject your past selves because you don't like the era, or you don't like the relationship, or you don't like the location. Remember, there's still redeemable things about you in every single era of your life. And those are the glimpses of your higher self. They're like little pictures of shiny new you poking in through the clouds, or all these good traits that you've had your entire life: your creativity, your empathy, your adventure, your curiosity. All of those are things that you want to keep. The things you don't want to keep are the things that made you be quiet, the things that made you feel unworthy of someone else's love or someone else's attention or affection. Because if you have to change yourself for that, this isn't, oh, female cardinal, freaking beautiful nature. Now I lost my place. Find your tribe, find your vibe tribe. You don't have to change yourself for anybody. You don't have to shrink for everybody. Be as weird as you want to be with the new people that you meet. They will come to you. They're not going to be as hard to find as you think. I really thought that they would be really hard to find because I've always been weird, and I've always shrunk and changed and I don't know, just held back because I'm a weird kid. I mean, well, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm a kid inside, and that's something else about me that I don't want to change. Just something that's always been part of me. It's like, why don't you grow up? You're so mature. Oh, why don't you learn to be adult? I do the adult things. I go to the work, take care of the kids. Some of the selves that you carry weren't born inside of you. They were built by other people. Brick by brick, they stacked expectations, insults dressed as advice, or love that only showed up when you behaved a certain way. All the people, not all the people, but many of the people closest to you most often, they sculpted masks for you. Some were hard, some were soft, but you've kept them on for so long that you forgot you had your own bare face underneath. But you don't owe anybody the performance of an old self that was stitched together by someone else's fears. And this is why the shedding is important. You're wiping off the fingerprints of anybody in your life who told you who you were supposed to be, who you could be, or what you couldn't be. That's the problem with filming in nature. My lighting guy is the sun, and he just goes wherever he wants. There might be some gray areas for you, determining which self is the authentic part of you and which self is one that's created by somebody else. And if you've been putting up with people's conditionings and demands for so long, it can be tricky to figure out where they end and you begin, or vice versa. Well, you gotta look back on your timeline. The versions of you that are built on trauma or fear or survival. You got to look back at what were you going through. Did you have financial problems? Did you have a messed up childhood, a messed up relationship, or hell, even a messed up roommate? I've had some fun roommates, but anyways, but look at that situation and then look, how did you react to that person? What it felt weird? What did you literally have to twerk about yourself, not twerk, tweak about yourself, in order to fit this person's comfort zone? That's when you're going to see that, because if you're going to look back now, do you still do that with other people? Like uh, for example, if you were in a relationship where texting was super important, the good morning text, the good night text, this other person just really had like a freaking like ball and chain on you. You had to be on that text, every morning. You have to say I love you. You have to say this. You have to say it this way. If you were in a relationship like that and you didn't take some time to cleanse that unhealthy, not normal, or just not cool behavior off of you, you're going to bring that into your next relationship. And when they don't text you good morning or good night or say I love you back all the time or do a certain emoji that you were expecting because this other person kind of trained you to be like that, then you're going to make that person feel like, okay, this person's messed up. Why are they getting all weirded out about the text thing? So you're going to take this person's toxic demands that weren't part of you to begin with, and you're going to basically take new ownership of it and to pass that discomfort and that awkwardness or that basic abuse or gaslighting to another person. So that's why you have to take the cleansing time before you go from one relationship into another one. Unless the past relationship was just fine and dandy, but you all just kind of split ways, went to different towns or something, then if there's no trauma, you don't have to take all that healing time. Go on, have fun. Outdated belief systems are also what you learn early on in childhood by your family, like religion, for example. My family didn't raise me with religion because my dad was Catholic, but my mom was Baptist. My dad wanted me raised Baptist, but my mom wanted me raised Catholic. So they just raised me to be good because Santa Claus is watching. So another example I'll use is the ideas of sex. My mom, I don't know, she's just so bashful. Oh, maybe a bit frigid. Not like frigid, just like super timid and bashful. And the whole thing about sex was the most taboo thing in the world. I had to learn from outside sources because we didn't talk about it. It was like very shush shush, only when you're married and only until you have kids. God, my parents stopped sleeping together a long ass time ago when I was a little kid. Anyways, so I grew up with some really weird, like, I mean, was sex like just bad or good? I mean, what the freak was it? So I had to come up with my own conclusions later on. And everything about that and the naked body parts, I had to learn in school. I had to learn from friends. I had to learn from Skinemax. You remember Emmanuel? Dude, that was like the most softcore porn ever. But anyways, that's how I learned things. See, I'm getting like that. I'm starting giggly. I'm talking about sex. I'm getting giggly because of my weird ass upbringing. But I don't feel, but yeah, it's just, now I'm giggly about it because it's just a fun freaking thing to do. I mean, I don't have any like emotional weird attachments to it. It's just a physiological thing that you need to get done every now and then. And it's should be good. So now you can see how I broke that chain. About those selves rooted in fear and trauma, those selves that are quick to be agreeable even when inside they don't agree. Perhaps they had an abusive childhood or abusive relationship where one disagreement and you slap in the face. So you develop the habit of just being agreeable to literally anything. That self has to go. That self protected you. You don't have to hate it. You don't have to want to kick its ass. It protected you for a while. But if you're here watching this video, then you're probably out of that situation. I hope. Get out of it anyways. Then you don't need to carry that protector with you anymore. You don't have to be agreeable to anything that doesn't resonate with you. Trash it. You cannot rise to your true self if you're still carrying these survival mechanisms. It is the same as wearing a heavy armor long after the war is over. It doesn't serve any purpose, it's just heavy. I'm going to break down a few techniques for you to say goodbye to your past selves, so it's not such an overwhelming project. It's a huge project. It's time consuming. So let's take this like little chunks at a time. First technique is writing a letter. You can write a letter to your past self. You can do goodbye rituals. If you're into any occult practices or any other sort of spiritual practices, then you have your own rituals on how to close and how to say goodbye. And if you want advice on how to construct a ritual like that, comment below. Can do. I'm going to do some ritual episodes later. But right now, I'm trying to get the fundamentals of the spiritual path out of the way before we get into the nitty gritty. But as I said, write a letter to your past self. Pick your most recent past self, and maybe this would work more efficiently with no matter what technique or method that you use, starting with your most recent past self, your most recent you. Then write a letter to yourself, thanking them for how they protected you, how they tried to keep you safe, and how they tried to keep you whole, how to tried to keep you sane. And then give your past self a little constructive criticism about how they might have protected you too much and how this might have damaged you, or how you wish that they had done something differently and expressed themselves more. Express your love for your past self. Tell them goodbye kindly. You got this letter. You can do what you want with it. You can keep it to go back and read on it, or you can burn it, which is more ritualistic and more symbolic of finally just letting go. A fairly simple ritual you can use to say goodbye to a past self is the mirror ritual. You're just talking to yourself in the mirror, but you have to use a little more presence and focus. Because when you're looking in the mirror, don't look at you now. Look at you. Look at your most recent past self. And then speak to them from the standpoint of your higher self, your aligned self. Whether or not you feel like you're really aligned with your new self or not, talk to them from that standpoint. Speak to them kindly. Again, the same with the letters. Thank them for how they protected you. Thank them for how they tried. Criticize constructively and nicely the things that your new self would have done differently because you're more evolved now. Give them a little hug, a high five in the mirror. A fun shedding ritual for the creative types would be writing that writing your past self like a character in a long running show and then killing them off. Because we've all seen a TV show where, a character was killed off, either completely or replaced with another character. And when that character was replaced, a lot of the elements that the fan base really liked about the previous character were kept because that's what good writing is. So you're going to be a good writer. You're going to keep all the good traits that you like, and you're going to write out the stuff that doesn't work for you anymore. And then another thing you can do after that, besides just writing off the old character, write the new character in like a character description. Write your higher self. Describe them versus the character that's being replaced. If you've seen 2.5 Men, when they killed off a main character, the main character not really killed him. Well, they did kill him off, but yeah, okay. It's been a while since I've seen it. But then, I mean, if you're killing off a main character and trying to replace him with another main character, how do you do that? Well, you bring him back naked and hotter. What you can expect to feel after even just one little practice, one little ritual, you're going to feel lighter. And that's energetically speaking, because energy does have weight. Whether you can see it or not, it has a weight. It has a heaviness. It has a lightness. It has a spark to it. If you enter a room and there's just been an argument or someone's in a really bad mood, you feel that. If you've been in a house where there's been a murder, you feel a heaviness in the air. So energy has a weight. So you are going to be feeling energetically lighter. Your decision making is going to be clearer, more confident. You're going to set boundaries and you're going to keep them. Your no's are going to mean no. Your yeses are going to mean yes. And you're not going to shrink anymore for someone else's comfort. And you're not going to feel bad about it. What you're going to feel, this huge glowing bubble of freedom, just like growing inside your chest and just expanding. And that's what the true freedom feels like. And that is the goal of all this. Doing this inner work, visiting versions of yourself that you've packed away in the attic, hoping never to look at again, is brave work. So if you are here and you're listening and you're wanting to get working on saying goodbye to your past selves, then thank yourself and congrats on your bravery. This practice is not a one and done. It is a continual spiritual practice. In future episodes, I'm going to be giving you some daily techniques on how to really be aware of your energies, because once you say goodbye to your old selves, they're going to come back like ghosts. They're not going to want to let go of you very easily because they're still going to want to protect you, but you're going to be able to recognize them and say, I'm good. I don't need it. Thank you, though. This process, this journey, it is messy and it is raw and it's going to be full of a lot of uncertainties and it's going to be very unpolished. I feel like that kind of coincides with basically the visuals and the production quality of my videos. I'm not a video person. I'm a music person. So we're learning together. I'm going to teach you in a way that hopefully makes sense, starting with recognizing what the spiritual path is, the barnacles inside of you. Below the barnacles are the old selves. And the next episode is going to be the aligning, the becoming, how you are going to recognize your higher self. It's important for you to remember. Repeat it to yourself like a mantra. What is not yours cannot stay. So burn clean, breathe deep, and keep walking toward the fire. Most importantly, stay weird. I'll see you guys next time.